the New York Knicks. I'm back, rocking the New York blues. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 541, part of Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
I will not question Leon Rose's draft strategy.
Is this an apology
I
episode?
will not question what's going on with you.
I feel like we're about to have an apology episode.
I will not question. It's just like the Simpsons. The Bart writes on the chalkboard. I will not question Leon Rose's draft strategy. I will not question Leon Rose's draft strategy. I'm going to say it 100 times. That'll be the episode. Is that cool?
I think so. Also, I don't know if you heard that the Knicks got 2 second-round picks also for Fournier.
I've not. What the hell are you talking about?
It was technically a sign and trade.
Wait, it was a sign and trade?
Yeah, it was a sign and trade. So the Knicks got 2 second-round picks for was it Fournier? Yeah.
For Fournier?
Yeah.
I thought the Knicks just signed him. Wow. That's what years? Do we have all the second round draft picks from 2023 now?
I mean, it's looking like that, yeah.
We have the whole box set. We're gonna sell them all on eBay.
So the Celtics traded 2 second-round picks to get Fournier, and then traded 2 second-round picks to get rid of him.
I guess it has to do with I'm seeing this here. They created a traded player exception as part of the deal worth $17.1 million. This is the dumbest cap I have ever. It is such. Just for a moment, the salary cap of the NBA is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. There's like the traded player exception. There's the mid-level exception. There's the on-board exception. There's the LeBron James gets to spend more money exception. Why do they even have a salary cap?
Well, I mean, it's dumb, but at least the Knicks are finally taking advantage of it instead of signing one guy and being like, oh, we're capped out, all done.
Right. Yeah, yes. Old Knicks would have given up 2 second-round picks to get Fournier, which would have been fine. New Knicks get Fournier plus 2 second-round draft picks.
By the way,
like that better.
Fournier said he wants to come on a couple of Knicks podcasts, so if you're a fan of the show, tag him with us, NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter. Tell him you want us on to have him.
If Evan Fournier is listening to this episode, we've been talking about you for years. You are our favorite player in the NBA. Mm-hmm. You're amazing. We're so happy you're in the Knicks. Nothing I said is completely true. If you don't believe me, listen to all 300 episodes prior to this.
540.
540 episodes. Once you've listened to all 540 episodes, Evan, then you'll know we're being honest or we're not. But anyway, we'd love to have you on the show. That would be pretty amazing if the players started going on the podcast hours or any others.
Yeah,
or all of them.
Preferably ours, but yes.
It'd be great. The best part of it would be, yeah, Evan, I don't know. Mark can't start till 9:10 because his kids, he has to put his kids in bed. Yeah, I know you've got a game. Can you do the show during halftime?
Would you be able to figure out how to put your 10-year-old to bed by 8 o'clock if that was the only time Fournier could...
Evan Fournier, I will make an exception. I will put my kids to bed earlier or just actually, I cannot put, even if Evan Fournier wanted me to, I couldn't put my kids to bed earlier, but I could push it onto my wife, make it up an excuse, and go to my basement and talk to you, Evan.
So basically, I'm just going to tell you every episode that Evan's coming on.
Yes, that would be, you'd be like, Mark, you didn't call in again. He said, I just got a text from him. He's calling in next episode. Thanks for starting at 8 o'clock, Mark. So helpful.
He's also going to start doing Brink too.
Perfect. So Summer League has concluded. I think the Knicks were 5-2 in Summer League. But they did not win. They ended up playing in the consolation game, but they did not win the Summer League. It doesn't matter if you win the Summer League championship. The Knicks had a quite a summer league showing. We learned about, I was going to say 3 rookies, but really 4 rookies. And we'll get to them, but there's of course Deuce McBride, who and Quentin Grimes. Let's get to them in a second. There is Jericho Sims, our 58th pick, who looks kind of awesome also. And the European guy, what is his name? How do you pronounce his name?
Vildoza?
No, Vildoza barely played. No, the guy they just drafted.
I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
It's Ronis Jakubata. I'm not good at pronouncing like American names, much less like a foreign. I phonics does not work for me.
Ronis.
Ronis. Anyway, yeah. So before we even get, so first of all, it looks like I still prefer that we took someone at 19, but whatever. I'm getting over it. The Knicks seem like they found some guys who will really contribute. I am Jay, how excited are you?
Are we actually having a streak right now? A streak of positive episodes? For the first time in 541 episodes, we're having multiple positive episodes in a row?
We are having multiple.
It's weird. It's a weird feeling. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. It's a strange sensation.
So honestly, I'm watching. So to talk about the other guys, Ronis, Jakob, we didn't see that much of him. He looked okay. He was only here. He only played 3 games in summer league. He went back to Spain. He will be possibly here next season. He's 20. He probably needs some time to it's probably very helpful for him to go play in another league for a year, get major minutes, develop, and then maybe possibly be here next year.
But he has like a 4-year contract in Europe, so I was surprised to even see him over here for the summer league. So that was cool.
So I guess the summer league, his contract didn't start right away, so he was able to do this. But my understanding is he has an ability to get out of it after next year.
I feel like contracts don't even matter in basketball anymore. Durant just signed a 5-year extension or whatever, 4 years, and it's like he might just ask to move to a different team next week. Who knows?
Right. I mean, if Durant loses again in the playoffs, he's obviously going to be asked to be traded to that team. So
yeah, and they'll do it for some reason.
Yeah. Contracts don't seem to matter. Anyway, Jokic seems like an interesting player. He needs to develop more. I love the fact that the Knicks can go develop some guy overseas. That sounds pretty good to me. Jericho Sims. There's also, I think the other Sims, the non-drafted guy who may end up in G League. Let's talk Jericho Sims first. What did you think of Jericho Sims?
The guy can rebound like there's no tomorrow.
He can jump really high.
Yes,
there are some pictures of him where he's going for an alley-oop and his head sticking out the top of the arena because he's jumped so high. He's got major ups. So what they've been saying about him is so first off, when you watch him, super athletic, not the most skilled player, but super athletic. Seems like he will be a good player on defense, probably right off the bat. On offense, his game needs work. But if you're looking for a rim protector to develop, this guy seems pretty interesting. Why do you think the Knicks got him at 58? Not why would they pick him, but why do you think he was even available at 58?
That's a good question. I mean, you got to think other teams scouted him. I haven't read anything about a pending lawsuit or a drug problem, an injury history. I'm trying to find what happened. I'm thinking maybe just big men are not in vogue anymore, so not a lot of people are looking at them.
I really think that's it. If you're a defensive-minded center with not much of an offensive game, the NBA doesn't have a huge interest in you anymore.
Although he didn't miss a shot for the first 3 games.
Yeah, but he was dunking. He had one hook shot. He doesn't look like he has a lot of maybe he'll develop, but he's not a developed product on offense. And he's definitely not a stretch. He's not shooting from 3 or anything. Maybe that's just where it is, where the NBA does not value this position a lot. If you can't play offense, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
I'm thinking that's it.
Maybe this is also makes you think are we overvaluing what Mitch can do if he can't really play offense? Are we overvaluing what Noel can do if they can't play offense? I don't know. Either way, also one of the telecasts, I forget who was the announcer said this. but like people were saying, how did this guy fall to the Knicks? And he was like, this guy didn't fall to the Knicks. He like made it. Like, he wasn't even expected to be in the draft. He somehow made it into the draft. That's how devalued these guys are at center.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what I saw. I think he's a guy that can really contribute on defense, and a guy that. So if something happens to Mitch or Noel and Taj, you have a fourth guy who could definitely play some minutes, and he'd be a great guy to spend a lot of time in G League and really like develop his game.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to have options. It's good that they're leveraging overseas and the G League.
I mean, can you really go wrong if you're like, I've got one of the most athletic players in the draft at 58?
He didn't miss a shot for the first 3 games of Summer League, too.
No, it's pretty good. I mean, not like he was putting up major numbers, but he is insanely athletic. He's like 6'11". I'm down. Like I think this was a no-brainer. Pick. I can't believe they got someone at 58 where I'm like, that guy's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Mangaki says he didn't think Tibbs would be the kind of coach to develop players, but he is. He hopes RJ and Quickly could take huge steps up this year.
I mean, everyone gives Tibbs crap saying that like he's not good for developing or playing the young guys, but Quickly had major minutes last year. RJ was one of the top. He was in the top 10 of the NBA in minutes, and he was a second-year player. So I think Tibbs just wants guys who will contribite. If you show you can do something there. So before getting to the stars of our Knicks draft, Grimes and McBride. So I want to ask you a little bit about Quickly and Toppin. What did you think you got from them? What was your take on their play? Because they got major minutes. Especially Toppin got, for the first time we've ever seen him get major minutes. Mm-hmm. It was pretty interesting. What do you think?
I mean, he put up numbers. His shooting percentage wasn't great, but he was able to get to the rim a lot. He scored a lot. I'm trying not to get too excited because I still have flashbacks of Balkman going nuts in Summer League. So I'm trying not to overreact to Summer League games.
I really liked what I saw from Toppin. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like the Knicks have a bunch of young players now, which I would love to, in another universe, just see these young players play like 35, 40 minutes a game and just see what happens. I don't think that's the team we have. This team is going to be competitive. They have a lot of really good players, and guys like Toppin are going to struggle for minutes. But I'd be really interested in seeing a team where Toppin, Grimes, Quickly, McBride all got major minutes next year and just see how it went.
I think they're going to get a decent amount of minutes. I don't think Toppin will get a lot because of Randall, but I think the minutes are there for everybody else.
I think Toppin will get more minutes than you expect, in the sense of I think you'll see Randall getting – the more Toppin shows he can do, the more you'll see teams giving Randall like a break, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I figure if they could keep Randall at 34 minutes, that's 14 minutes for Toppin.
I think someone on the show asked last episode if we could see Toppin getting 14 points a game. I don't know if it'll be 14, but maybe 10 points a game, which is not a huge difference, obviously. Like I think he'll have games where he'll put up like 15, 20 points, where like he gets like an efficient. I think he's going to contribute more than last year. I think at some point he may start living up to the why the Knicks drafted him so high.
Anthony's taking credit for the 13 to 14 points per game.
Thank you, Anthony. Yeah.
Andrew said you're just happy that they drafted a player at 58 with a name you could pronounce.
Yes. Quickly,
Sims, I could say that.
Quickly, shooting was not ideal through the Summer League. Sometimes he was good, sometimes he was not. The big thing, I guess, was the Quickly IQ point guard experiment. What do you think of that, Jay?
Shaky at first, but towards the last few games, it started to look like he was getting his groove a bit.
He made some interesting passes.
People were flipping out after game 1, but he was averaging like 7 assists a game, so not too bad.
Mark Berman wrote a story about after game 1 how Quickly was not going to be a point guard. The experiments failed. It's one game, and then the next game he's like, experiment's working. Obviously, people are questioning whether Quickly has the amazing vision to be a point guard. He was doing a decent enough job. He was getting assists. He was trying to run the offense. Some people maybe are just like Chris Paul, where like they just have this amazing court vision. But I think a lot of guys at point guard just developed through reps, through giving a lot of practice at the position. This was a great idea to give him a role there, see how it goes. Hey, you know what? Whether he's a point guard or not in the future, if he can take some of the handling the ball, some of the running the offense while he's on the floor, it can only help his game and help the Knicks.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Even if he's not the point guard, to have another ball handler on the court just opens up options. Kemba gets trapped before half court. Yeah, you could, you have somebody else who can like set up the offense.
Yeah, I think his handle needs to be tighter. He needs to be able to get by people a little more on like going to the basket. But I saw him doing a little bit. It wasn't just the floaters. He was trying to get to the basket. He was looking interesting. I think Quickly's always going to be a streaky player. I mean, maybe at some point he won't be, but I think he'll always be a streaky player where sometimes he looks awesome and sometimes he does not. But your offense needs these guys. Like just like you need like guys like Burks. You need guys who will, if one guy's not performing, the other I can put Burks out there and he can get me 20 points, or Quickly get me 20 points, or maybe Toppin or McBride or Grimes. I don't even understand how these guys were available to the Knicks, especially McBride. How the hell was McBride available at 36?
McBride, I'm more excited about than Grimes, to be honest.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees. McBride is like the guy at 36 is more exciting. Grimes looks good. He showed the pitch on him was a 3-and-D to replace Bullock. I mean, obviously he's not going to be better than Bullock right away, but I think there might be something even more than that. I think he's going to be a good shooter, good from three. Seems like he can handle the ball a little bit. I think there's more there than just like I think his ceiling is above Reggie Bullock. But McBride, again, how did this guy fall to 36?
Maybe that's why the Knicks asked for 2 second-round picks with Fournier, because this is the third straight year where a second-rounder looks more exciting than the Knicks' first-rounder.
Well, no, last year they didn't do a second. You're thinking a late rounder.
Oh, late, yeah.
Quickly was 25.
Well, three out of 4 years.
And Mitch before the year was a second-rounder. But yeah, I'm really just. There's also a game which one of our fans sent us. I think George sent us. Where's McBride versus the number 1 pick this
Cade.
year?
Cade.
Yeah, versus Cade. McBride held his own the entire game against Cade. They played also again in summer league, and Cade played great, and obviously he's the number 1 pick. But McBride looks pretty darn good. I mean, what McBride and Grimes both have, and what's the reason I think they're going to get more minutes than you would expect as a rookie in Tibbs' offense, is they both look like really hard workers on defense.
Yeah.
Both guys that get deep. They really said, like, we're going to draft guys that fit into what Tibbs likes to do. Tibbs want guys who can play. Tibbs want guys who can play defense, guys who can shoot and do more than that. I mean, after a little bit of McBride, I was like, I think I put on Twitter, I was like, for all those who are Ntilikina stans, check out what McBride's doing. I think you might fall in love.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is summer league and not to overreact to things, but I like his defense. I guess he's a little undersized at a point guard, and I don't know if he's a true point guard, but he looks pretty good. His shot looked really good. He looks like he's going to be. I guess he's been pretty decent from 3, but I also like his pull-ups on 2. Not that Grimes and McBride are going to compete for Rookie of the Year, but I feel like the Knicks have found like these guys. At Grimes and McBride, you found 2 guys that are going to be in the NBA for a while.
That's all you can ask for, picks in that range. I mean, if they become actual NBA players, then that's a win.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if the Knicks have, at least between Grimes and McBride, if one of them isn't like one of those guys that are considered a steal of the draft. McBride might be the steal of the draft. I don't know. I haven't watched enough of the other players, but I don't know. I'm pretty darn excited. We have some questions. Let's go to a couple questions, Jack.
Yeah, we've both been active on Twitter about these guys. We're NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter. If you see a tweet that mentions nipples, that's always Mark. Just throwing that out there.
Paul writes, who will have a better season rest of their career, Kemba or Dennis Schroeder? For those who don't know, Dennis Schroeder turned down like a 5-year, $80 million contract from the Lakers to sign a 1-year, $5.9 million contract with the Celtics.
Oopsie.
His agent probably will be fired. But who is going to have a better season next year, Kemba or Schroeder?
Kemba said his knee is fine. Kemba's a better player. Has been his whole career.
Yeah, if Kemba is healthy, hands down Kemba. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kemba's a 20-point per game scorer. He's a 4-time All-Star. If Kemba's healthy, it's a no-brainer.
Schroeder's a solid guy off the bench. Kemba's a starting point guard, All-Star point guard. I don't know how Kemba's knee will be. And again, he doesn't have to play 30 minutes a game. But Kemba's a better shooter than Schroeder. Schroeder's not the best shooter. Kemba can shoot threes. Julian writes, it's turning into an obsession, but who could we get at this moment in time realistically, and which position would you reinforce for Kevin Knox plus a second rounder via trade to make this team better than it already looks? Personally, maybe a big defensive guy at the 4, as we got a quality at the point guard, and at the 2, topping in between the 3 and the 4 with Grimes and Barrett sharing the 3 position. I think that Obi and Randall could do an extra. Could use some extra help at the 4 position. Thoughts? By the way, the Knicks also have gotten more help at the 3. Jay, you like bacon?
No.
No.
No, one of those rare people who actually doesn't. I'll say yes to go with your bit.
Not even a bit. They got Dwayne Bacon.
Okay.
This is not a bit. The Knicks got a player from Orlando named Dwayne Bacon. That's why I asked if you like bacon.
I don't think there's enough minutes at the 4. Randall's going to play 34, 35, and then if Toppin plays 12, 13, 14, that's it. There's no minutes.
I think that if anything, they needed help at the 3. Bacon, I think, provides that just more depth.
I don't think there's a market for Knox in a second, to be honest.
I guess at this point, what would you even trade Knox? There's not much of a market for Knox plus a second. Would you rather trade Knox in a second for whatever you can get, or just say, hey, let's try to develop Knox for one more season and see how it goes?
I would say you lean towards developing him if you can get a better second or like a late first.
Knox, if we can get upper deck tickets, you're out. I would say
what if a really good team like the Lakers or the Suns wanted Knox, because a first rounder to them is like the 28th pick.
I mean, first of all, what if the Spurs call you up and they're like, we'll give you a first for Knox? Do you go, yes, that'd be amazing? Or do you go, shit, we better keep Knox?
I think you make the deal and you just assume that he's going to be like 6th man of the year next year.
If a smart team called me up and they wanted to trade for Knox, I would just say no, just because I'd be like, shit, we're missing here. Let's never do this trade.
Right. Masai calls and it's like, you just start taking notes.
Yeah. Masai, let's just say we did this trade. How would you use Knox? I think Knox asked to be in the summer league because of he either caught COVID or the COVID protocol. Something happened. We got exposed. He wasn't able to play in the summer league. But it also shows me that maybe Knox might also say, hey, could you guys put me in the G League for a little while so I can get some burn? Maybe he does that. Maybe he's open to that. It is a really, really crowded rotation. Chances are Knox is not going to have a lot of playing time in this team. So chances are maybe he'd be open to something in the G League. Mm-hmm. Or if you can win minutes, maybe he's kicking ass in practice. I don't know. But it's weird. He's so young. And I've so given up on him, but I don't think there's enough you can get from him to make it worth trading.
Yeah, I don't either.
By the way, did you hear about Frank signing? He finally signed.
Oh, yeah?
No, I was kidding. Paul writes, how many minutes will Rose play? How many should he play, considering the young guards we have?
Well, I don't know if Kemba's really young, right?
I'm pretty sure he didn't mean Kemba, but yes. Kemba's 30.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, he's not that young.
I'm assuming he meant McBride, Grimes. Grimes could be a 3. IQ. I assume that's really where he's going with this. Really, is McBride and IQ more than
anything. So let's say
I'm not even sure if Villanova going to be on the team yet. So I don't know if the Knicks have announced whether he's on the team or not. But
Probably not. So
and he
let's
hasn't
say
shown much.
You
Yeah.
want to preserve Kemba's knee, and you keep him to 25 minutes a game. He can go all out, balls out for 25 minutes. So now you're already down to 23 minutes.
I mean, really, like you could have Kemba play first quarter, third quarter, 8 or 9 minutes, coming for 4 or 5 more minutes in the fourth quarter on a regular basis. That might work. And then you give, I don't know, I kind of give most of the minutes to Rose between the two of them. And then, well, here's the thing.
I'd say about 15 minutes.
50, you give him how much?
15.
You'd give Kemba 15?
No. I give Rose 15.
We just signed him for a bunch of money. I think we're giving him more than 15 minutes.
Well, I don't know what the minutes are. You give Kemba 25, you get 15 for Rose, and you give 8 for like everybody else.
I think 20. I think you basically give 25, 23. I think they're just going to split the minutes at point guard for the most part. Here's what's anyone who's concerned about minutes has to remember it's 82 games. There's going to be a lot of injuries. This no matter even what you say about Kemba's knees or whatever everything else, guys get injured. Guys miss games all the time. Kemba might need some nights off. McBride will have plenty of opportunities. It will not be an issue. He'll get opportunities. IQ will have plenty of time. Everyone will have their opportunities to play. I just don't think this will be. It may be an issue on game 1 of the season. Over 82 games, it will all work itself out.
Yeah.
It seems to always do. The only guy it didn't seem to work out for was Frank. And even him, he got – I don't want to – he got plenty of minutes.
He played 20 minutes per game 3 straight years, so he got a lot of minutes.
Anyway, guys will have groin issues. Lots of things will happen. This will all – we need depth for that reason also. You need to basically be able to miss – like there will be games where you don't have Rose and don't have Kemba, and it would be great if McBride and IQ step up, run the offense, and get us some wins.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when Melo was here. Melo, I'm not saying anything negative about Melo, but every once in a while he missed some games, and the Knicks could not win a goddamn game when Melo was gone. Like anytime he did not play, the Knicks just lost the game. I want a team where any guy misses it. When Randall's out, the team can win the games without Randall. Like,
Yeah.
I want everyone to. This is a very deep team, and I'm really excited. Paul writes, who's the first player we'll be sick of seeing this season?
Rose.
Really? Why? Yeah. By the way, Rose was one of our best players, probably our second best player last season.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks record with Derrick Rose was like 24-11 in the regular season. He was the best player on the Knicks in that Atlanta series.
Yeah.
So what the hell's wrong with you, Jay?
I read this question earlier, and I went through the whole roster, and it's a very likable team, and I can't think of anybody other than maybe Rose peaked, and he's on the downswing, and we get sick of him quicker. Everybody else, I think half the team, they're not going to play a lot, so you're going to be like, oh, cool, they're playing. And the other half of the team, everybody likes Barrett. Everybody likes IQ. So like,
there's no Alfred Payne on this team.
I know. So that's how I came to Rose. Process of elimination. It's not that I thought bad about him. Who would you pick?
I don't know. Now that you framed the question better, I really don't know who I'd.
It's a tough question.
Luca Villadoza. Sorry, dude. Definitely not Evan Fournier. I cannot get enough Evan Fournier. I wish he played 40-10. I wish he played 50 minutes a night. I love you, Evan Fournier. I'd like to tell you on the show when you come on.
Yeah, we're actually thinking of renaming the New York Evan Fournier podcast.
We'll do that if you come on the show.
Yeah.
We will 100% do that. We have no qualms with doing that.
We have no shame.
No shame. Yeah, that's a tough. Paul also writes, bummed that Luka may not get a spot on this roster. Who would you cut instead of him? Hint, Knox.
That is the answer. That is the correct answer. Just to show you how far this team has come, I want to thank Tommy Beer for this. 2 years ago, who led the Knicks in total points?
2 years ago, who scored not per game, but total points?
Total points, 2018-2019 season. Who led the team?
Wait a second. So 2 years ago, obviously it was before RJ, before Randall. Um, it couldn't have been Knox. It could have been Marcus Morris because he wasn't here long enough. It had to be. I can't even believe I don't know this answer. I mean, I watched the whole season. I suffered through this whole miserable season.
I'll help you out a little. On the roster was Hardaway Jr., Dennis Smith Jr., Moutier.
Okay, it's
Cantor.
Hardaway Jr. Hardaway. No, but he missed a bunch of games though.
He did.
So I don't know. And he was traded. That was the year. Was that the year he was traded mid-season with KP? Obviously, so it can't be him. Because Dennis Smith came
Mitchell
after.
Robinson,
Who else on this team, Jay?
Wes Matthews, DeAndre Jordan, Vonleh, Trier,
I
Mitch
mean, this is a
Robinson,
pain-
Hazonia.
This is a painful roster.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
Holy crap!
Ron Baker.
Remember when people were like, "We got a young core. We got Ron Baker." Yeah.
Frank. Trey Burke.
I mean, not to knock Frank at all, and I mentioned a couple times. I may have knocked him a couple times this episode, but by the way, we love Frank. Evan, we know you're a fan of his. You guys are. We
love
Frank.
everything French.
We love French. Jay is eating a croissant right now.
I had French fries for lunch.
You should have seen the kind of toast I had this morning. There was someone else on that team besides Marcus Morris who could score, and I'm struggling to think. Can you read me that roster, Jay? Just read me the roster. This is just unbelievable.
Hardaway Jr., Knox, Smith Jr., Dodson, Moutier, Matthews, Jordan, Cantor, Vonleh, Trier, Allen, Ntilikina, Burke.
It was Cantor, wasn't it?
So the answer is Kevin Knox.
Knox led the Knicks in scoring.
Yes.
So we just had a fan ask a question about whether we should cut Kevin Knox to give a job to this other guy that we barely seen play point guard. Man, this roster's come up.
He scored 963 points. Number 2 is Hardaway with 880.
Wow.
And
Knox did that on horrific shooting.
He did it
like his
on,
percentages.
13 points per game on 37% shooting.
And that was our wow.
I mean, Hardaway was leading points per game. All right. Thank you for the subscription.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But Hardaway obviously was traded. That was the Marcus Morris year, right? Or was that last season? No, that was the year. I mean, that was last. Maybe that was 1 year ago.
Yeah, that was 1 year ago.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That really is a nice comparison of how far this roster has come.
So do you know who the second and third points per game were? Because Hardaway was first.
Okay, so Cantor and Knox.
Wrong and wrong.
Okay.
The answer is...
I'm not going to guess. Just go.
Smith Jr. and Moutier.
What the... That roster is just full of guys that are barely in the NBA anymore.
And this is why we had like an hour-long discussion about whether we can literally continue to do the podcast after that season.
Our young core was Kevin Knox, who will struggle mightily to get minutes this season. Frank Ntilikina, who doesn't have a job in the NBA right now. Ron Baker, who does not have a job in the NBA right now. Alonzo Trier, who does not have a job in the NBA right now.
Smith Jr., who's barely hanging on.
I don't think Smith Jr. has a job in the NBA right now.
Moutier, who's barely there.
Barely hanging on. What's his name from the who's the guy that got the triple-double? The guy from Orlando? What's his name? The European guy.
Hazonia?
Yeah, Hazonia. He barely hanging on in the NBA. Cantor is probably the best player on that roster. Well, to Hardaway, in the fairness, Timmy Hardaway has been pretty good since he left the Knicks. Got a big contract. We scoffed at the $72 million contract he got when the Knicks signed him. He got the exact same contract again. Dallas was very happy to give it to him. He's been pretty decent.
Also, they only had 2 players who played 70-something games. Everyone else played 60-something or less.
Julian writes, McBride is to me Marcus Smart 2.0. What do you guys think? I think Marcus Smart is such an annoying player to watch, but I like McBride.
Hopefully he's Marcus Smart without the shameless flopping.
I did. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I like as far as defense, shooting, like he's not as tall, thicker. There's a lot of Marcus Smart there, but without the flopping would be a solid addition. By the way, Bill Simmons made a big point on his podcast. Simmons is amazing, obviously, but how the Celtics' only move was to trade Marcus Smart and see if they can improve the roster. Celtics have now given Marcus Smart a 4-year, $77 million contract because apparently they're not going to improve that roster.
So are Celtics fans still laughing at Knicks fans?
Celtics still have Tatum and Brown, and we would trade our entire roster for those 2 players.
Yeah,
so.
but they had a pretty bad offseason.
They had a bad offseason, horrible offseason. They are wasting 2 all-star talents. Anthony writes, how impressed are you about the first and second year guys in the summer league, and how much of this should translate in real NBA competition? The second part of that question, really, these guys are doing it in the summer league. Talent is not so high. Most of the guys there are pretty experienced, plus some random veterans are playing. Mr. Walking Bucket was playing.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's really hard to judge from summer league. I know I keep bringing up Balkman, but we were so excited about him.
We were not excited about Knox in summer league, and Knox actually didn't shoot the ball all that well. He had one or two like big games in summer league, and we were really excited. And coming off the first year, it's the whole grain of salt thing. I mean, I think Jerry Grant was an MVP of summer league and did not have much of an NBA career. I don't know. I liked what I saw from these players. It's one thing if you see Kevin Knox in summer league and you're like, great, we found our savior. Knox, here's the organization. Carry him on your back. See what you can do. Versus McBride, you're like, hey, McBride, Grimes, we like what you did in the summer league. We're going to develop you really slowly. There's lots of vets around to help you. We have a great coach, great system. And whatever you do this season, great. If you can contribute, wonderful. If you can't, then contribute next season. Don't worry about it.
Yep. That's
a better pitch. I don't know. That's obviously if you drafted Cade Cunningham and you're like, I want him to carry over, by all means, that makes sense. But these guys take it slowly. And McBride and Grimes play major minutes this year. It either means they have looked really awesome and won over Tibbs, or COVID has killed off half the roster. I don't know. But what did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that we are on a streak of positivity that is unrivaled in this podcast.
It is just I don't know. I like the negative energy gets it joy, creates jokes. We just don't have any negative energy anymore, Jay. We're just gonna be happy, go lucky. We're like, how you doing, Jay? You're doing well. Jay got a new job that he actually likes. Jay got a new apartment and his living situation is better. Everything's going well for Jay, and including now his team is better. Jay,
it's weird.
What back alley did you murder your black cloud?
I passed it on. I think I gave it to you, and now you give it to Bri.
Yeah, but we haven't seen Bri in a while. He's we'll have him back at some point. He's doing fine for anyone listening who's curious. He's doing fine. Just hasn't
for Bri.
He hasn't been interested in being on the show for a little bit. Yeah, you know what? The only thing I'll be negative. I'm going to end the show with something negative. Jay, you there?
Yeah.
I'm going to go super negative here.
Okay.
Here's my negative take. After watching all these guys in the summer league, I think it's just complete bullshit. I have to wait till November to watch the team play again.
That's a good note.
Goddamn! I don't need an off season. I want to see McBride and Grimes play now. I want to see this team with Kemba, Evan Fournier, who's coming on the show. I want to see all these guys play right now. I'm so excited about this team. I don't give the Mets suck, the Jets, whatever. I forget everything else.
I have good news for you.
November's coming sooner than I think.
They released the schedule. Game 1 is October 20th.
Okay, pretty good. I hear we're spending Christmas with Trey.
We are, and we're gonna play the Celtics in Game 1.
By the way, do you know that last summer league game, the Knicks set a record for most threes they've ever hit in a basketball game?
Really?
Yep, they hit 21 threes. The Knicks have never done that before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? The Knicks, I mean, obviously summer league, you don't really count that with the regular stats, but it was just kind of cool. The Knicks drafted the team, put together this young team who can hit a lot of threes.
Yeah.
And most of it was guys that are going to be on the team. It's not just like random throwaway guys. So I thought that was kind of awesome. Yeah.
So follow us on we're NY Knicks Podcast on almost everything: Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. If you want to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon. Follow us so you get a notification when we go live. You could join the chat, and you could have some fun with us while we do the shows live.
Quick question, Jay. So the NBA is instituting rules where you cannot throw yourself into other players to basically draw fouls. They were enforcing that in the summer league. Do you think they will enforce that in the regular season? And are you excited to see Trey no longer being able to draw fouls?
I think they'll enforce it for like the first 20 games.
Yeah.
Kind of like that one year they had the no complaining rule, or you get a tech, and like a third of the way through the season they're like, yeah, forget it, it's too much effort.
I really hope. I mean, like, it's
just
so much.
I think this is one rule where it's almost unanimous that everybody hates the way the game is being played right now, and I think everybody would appreciate if they started calling the game like they say they're going to.
It's worse than flopping. I understand the idea of flopping as a player is like, well, I was fouled. If I don't really react, that the ref is not going to see it, and that go across the line. But this is just like the Harden, Trey, and IQ did it a little bit also. But throwing yourself into play. By the way, I love how the NBA, for its example for that, showed a play of Julius Randle throwing himself into a player in the Hawks series.
I know. It's like
but either way, it was the NBA is much better without guys being able to throw themselves into other players to cause fouls.
All right, we are out of time. Thank you for listening, everybody, and we will be back soon. You can check out our comedy podcast, The Brink of Sanity. It's on all the places where you get podcasts, and brinkofsanityshow.com.
Show note for the next Brink of Sanity. All we're going to be doing is reading through Knicks rosters from the past decade.
So that's our comedy podcast, and then if you follow us on Twitch, I'll be doing some video game stuff too.
Awesome.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. It's time to go. This is the end.